Okay, I left us right here where we left off. Just to put in a little quick side note, very important that we uncheck this, which is the equivalent of ejecting the installation CD. Otherwise, you're going to be in a nice loop of trying to install CentOS again. So let's hit this. And now while the virtual machine restarts and CentOS boots up for the first time, I can actually take you and show you Putty. Putty is a cool little program. Let me show you where you can get it, and you're going to need it for your virtual environment, or I'd say recommend it. It's something that is pretty widely used even in the real world, especially in the real world, I'd say, because or any SSH terminal program, you can download it right here. Once you got it up, you can remotely connect via the command line to your virtual machine. So it's a really cool little feature. And this is still booting up. And it's a realistic way of doing things. You don't want to be in the network operations center. It gets pretty noisy there and cold with all the machines, or hot depending on the ventilation system. And you really want to be in your comfortable chair and just accessing this server remotely. And one of the biggest problems with counseling in, even if you manage to find a way to copy and paste in VirtualBox, which isn't that hard, but I found a pain in the ass, is simply by using a remote terminal. You can copy and paste easy. Ooh, keep this in mind. Make sure determining IP information gets an OK. That's important. Your SSH is starting up here. They're creating keys. SSHD is the actual service. Make sure that has an OK next to it. Okay, this we can skip. You could turn the firewall off if you want. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to show you another way of doing it. Let's log in with our credentials. And time to install asterisk. So let's get on that, shall we? Well, first thing is you'll notice that I've minimized the VirtualBox manager, and we're going to minimize this in a second because all we're going to need is Putty. We need to find the IP of our virtual machine. We saw it determining IP information, got an OK earlier, so that's good. And ooh, looks like for whatever reason that setting I put earlier didn't stick. I want to make sure this is not under NAT, this is on bridged adapter. Alright, so let's see, config. It's not going to figure it out by itself, so I need to redo the IP information. I can just do get down as the command. Down Ethernet 0. Just ignore this part, it's not important, but I guess it's useful for you if you ever need to learn how to refresh IP information on a Linux box. Okay, let's do if config again, and yes, this is an IP address assigned by my router, 192.168.10.186. So we can punch this into Putty now. Okay. Just hit yes. And alright, we're shown with the login screen. And now we're in. So now if you're familiar with Linux, you can follow me on these commands. If you're not, just follow through. Again, this is just lab setup. I don't want you to stress your brain over understanding this. If you're not familiar with Linux, I want you to maybe get the very basics of it. CD, we're in a certain directory, change directory to this directory. It's the same thing as double clicking on a folder in Windows. You can see what directory we're in with pwd. And right now we have to get the asterisk installation file, or the tarballs, the compressed files, is Linux's way of putting it. Looks like I already have it up. You would have gone to asterisk.org downloads. How did I find this one? I didn't search. You could also go through Google if you want. It's the first results. And you can hit downloads right from there. I think I'm going to get 1.6 tarballs. I could get 1.8. It doesn't matter, but I think later I'm going to actually use this with a program called A2 billing, and I found a real pain in the ass to install it with asterisk 1.8 for some reason. So, alright, let's get this. So wget is something that lets you download the asterisk files. What I did was I copied the link location, because this is a direct link. If you see in the status bar here where my mouse is, you can see that's the file directly, and it's not grabbing. I know why it's not grabbing it. You might have to turn off your firewall. So stop until I restart. Yes, blah 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 blah. Alright, let's restart this. Let me pause the recorder and figure out why it's not going. Okay, that was weird. I tried wget on google.com. That went fine. It downloaded an index.html file, so no, this should be up. Maybe it's the website having a problem. Let's try again. If I have too much trouble with that, I'll just get the 1.8. Okay, let me pause again. Okay, well, it finally started by itself, so that's good. Usually it's a 1 second thing. Alright, so we have that here. So we could do an ls to see the files currently in here. Now, just like in Windows, I'm sorry for any Linux gurus, I'm going to relate a lot of things to Windows because that's what I'm more familiar with. So here we go. I'm going to type tar xzbf. This is the same thing as uncompressing a zip file, and I could just type ast, and I hit the tab key and it completes the rest of what the name for me, so it's a handy little trick for you to know. Alright, so now it's not installed, it's just uncompressed. We do an ls, we see a new directory up here with the asterisk that was just uncompressed from this zip file or tarball. So I can remove the old tarball, we don't need it anymore. Delete that, and now I can change directory to the asterisk folder. I can see what's inside it. I highly recommend for people to read this. Don't know how much more plainer I can put it. So, alright, in terms of installing, one thing that I know we're going to need are a couple of dependencies. I'll probably create show up a little manual at the end of this, but we could create the manual as we go along. But let me open up a notepad file. So we need certain files in order to get this installed. So first thing we needed to do was change directory to here. We had to wget this file, the asterisk file here. Nowhere grabbed. And now what are we on? We have to get dependencies. So we're going to use yum. It's a default package handler that comes in CentOS. Just yum install gcc. These are all a bunch of other programs that the asterisk needs in order to install. So it needs gcc, gcc, c++. I know it needs ncurses development package, and I think it needs one called libxml2 development package. So let me put -y at the end of it for yes. So You're going to see the last step. I'm going to execute a file up there. It will just disappeared. It was in green. It was called configure. And the configure, what it does is basically checks for all these dependencies, all these other dependent programs that asterisk is going to rely on. And when it detects one of them missing, it gives an error code. You can actually kind of figure out. Some people don't know how to read the output from the configure program, but you're going to see it's going to say GCC. Is it there? It's going to say no next to it, or it'll say C++ compiler missing. That's GCC-C++. Um, I think the next one, if you try running /configure again, or running that configure program, it's going to want either the libxml2 development package or the ncurses development package. It'll tell you what it's missing. One of the trick for me was I was used to an apt-get, which is a package handler in Ubuntu, typing libxml2-dev dev, and that was supposed to download the development package. That was the same thing with yum. It ended up in yum. You have to make sure to specify devel, which is a starting of development instead of dev. So just a little key point, something that boggled my mind for a good couple hours. Other things you want to do with yum in the real production environment, at least, yum update, yum upgrade, to make sure that everything inside your Linux box is updated and good. So we might have to fast forward through this installation in the video, or this will just be part one of the asterisk installation. So, let me grab those commands before they disappear out of that back scroll. Yum install. It's not letting me scroll up. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. There we go. I can paste that there. So I'm basically creating this script. I'll have a link to it in the description box, so I'll just paste this in the description box. Essentially, all you have to do is copy and paste this, and you're good to go. In terms of setting up your lab, mind you, the version, the asterisk version may change, which would change this link, so this second part might not work. You have to double check it, which is why I'm going through this video. Alright, so those packages are ready. The way you execute something is I don't think you just type something configure. No, you have to type /configure, and it's going to execute the program in the current directory, as I showed you earlier with an ls configure. It's just a program here, and just name it execute that to make sure all your packages are installed. Oh, I think I'm definitely over 10 minutes. I don't know if I'm 15 minutes yet, but I'll save it for the next video. Alright.